everybody, my name is Crystal. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's turn the light on. It's a bit dark in here. So, good afternoon, it's lunchtime and I ordered from Deliveroo this morning and I'm just going to show you my lunch, which is a Admirals pie. So this is an Admirals pie and this is what it looks like when you've cooked it on the microwave. Just been downstairs to get the post and I'm just going to eat my lunch. It needs to go back in the oven for a couple of minutes. You cook it in the microwave for about 7 minutes. It's got the veg in there, so I'm going to put it back in the oven. So I'm just going to finish off cooking my Admirals pie, yeah. So basically my mum rang me on the field when I was walking Max this morning and there was a funny fella that looked like one of my sons with glasses with a plastic bottle hanging out of his jeans pocket. I came back home and I tried to concentrate on my Polish and it's one of those days where I just can't get into it. I keep making mistakes, so I'm going to wait until my concentration is better. The time is 12:52, so it's almost 5 to 1 in the afternoon. The driver's name of the Deliveroo was Richard. His name was Richard. That old man was called Richard. So all that I've got in my mailbox this afternoon is a letter from British Gas. British Gas. My mum also said that she hadn't paid her TV licence and she hadn't paid her water rates. I paid both of those bills online, so no one can chase me up for a TV licence, no one can chase me up for paying water because my water has been paid already, my water rates. So it's been quiet-ish today. It gets noisy obviously when people come home from school and work. During the day it's fairly quiet with people in the afternoon, and then when it gets to about 3:30 it starts to get noisy when everyone comes back from school and work. So I'm just enjoying the time while it is peaceful and quiet. British Gas have just said, have we got the right email for you? Hello Crystal, we recently emailed you but it looks like it might not have reached you. Letter reference CAM, C-A-M, which is my TikTok. It's my name initials, C-A-M, CAM. So CAM is also my TikTok. They've just told me they've stored my cards probably on their system. This has come from Winchester in Hampshire. So nothing really exciting has been going on. I spoke to my mum this morning. I need to go up and see my mum at some time just to see how things are up there with her. So we've just been relaxing here and I've made myself a cup of coffee. As you can see, I said I was going to do my hair. I've done my hair myself. No one's done it for me. I use bubble hair dye from China, and it's coffee coloured. Coffee. And it's the best hair dye. I don't want it. That blue dye was horrible. So this dye, you shampoo it on your hair. There's hardly any, like, you're not covered in dye either. You wash it out, and it's this. I just needed to touch up the fringe and the roots at the top of my head, and I've done that. I don't mind grey hair. I just think it starts to go yellow. It makes some people look old, and while I'm still able to do my own hair, I will use the bubble hair dye. And you just get in the shower or whatever and just wash it off. It's easy. I left it on for 25 minutes. I set the time with Alexa, and I've just washed it off, and it's drying really quickly as well. I was just like, walking around in a depressed state, as you do. You don't want to do anything. When people upset you, you just don't want to do anything. So you tend to let yourself go. So, I've sorted myself out, pulled myself together, and I'm doing what I want to do, and it is quiet at the moment. Like I said, until first thing in the morning when the kids go to school, when they're yelling and screaming and shouting right outside the window, and when they come back, the same thing. So it's obviously the kids that, that it's the noise from the children. So I just want to go somewhere a bit more quieter, and that's it really. But I'm not moaning, I'm not complaining. I've put the news on briefly. Alexa, what is the news?
Here's the news. In Sky News streams.
Coming up next, we have more on the day's big stories. Remember, at any time you can ask your device to skip, and it'll move you on to the next item. This is Sky News.
Israel's military confirming its troops have begun a targeted ground operation in southern Lebanon. The IDF says it's carried out localized and targeted raids against Hezbollah targets in villages close to the shared border. Meanwhile, the UK government's chartered a commercial flight out of Lebanon to help British nationals leave the country. Well, Lebanese media have reported heavy shelling in the towns of Wazani and Qaim on the southern border with Israel. Israeli military are yet to confirm that these are the specific areas they've hit, but they have said they're targeting Hezbollah infrastructure in villages close to the border. Our security and defence editor Deborah Haynes reports now from northern Israel.
From Israel's side of the border, the unmistakable signs that its forces are back inside Lebanon. The military says what it calls limited, localised and targeted raids have begun.
Since we've been here, you can hear that now, we have heard the steady beat of outgoing artillery fire, rocket fire, and then every now and again you can see that Lebanon is far behind me over the hills in the distance, but you can see the orange flash of the impacts.
More troops have been massing in northern Israel over the past few days. But a decision to push across the border is a dramatic escalation in their fight with Hezbollah, almost 2 decades since the last Lebanon war. Earlier, the defence minister met with soldiers. He told them they had to stop Hezbollah from firing rockets into the north, so tens of thousands of Israeli civilians can return home.
This is your mission. We will employ all that is needed. Your forces, other forces, from the air, from the sea, and also from the land.
The land attack follows days of punishing airstrikes across Lebanon, including the capital, Beirut. The targets have been Hezbollah commanders right up to its leader. but they've also devastated whole communities, with many people dead and wounded, and hundreds of thousands forced to flee. For Israel, though, it feels it has no choice as it fights on multiple fronts against groups across the region, all aligned with Iran. The Prime Minister even hinting his country's arch foe could be next, in a message that he addressed to the Iranian people.
There is nowhere in the Middle East Israel cannot reach. There is nowhere we will not go to protect our people and protect our country. With every passing moment, the regime is bringing you, the noble Persian people, closer to the abyss.
But as Israel pounds its enemies, its allies are growing increasingly alarmed at the potential for the whole region to descend into all-out war. Deborah Haynes, Sky News, near Israel's border with Lebanon.
This is Sky News.
The fear of Israel's ground offensive and the airstrikes has caused, according to the Lebanese government, around 1 million people to be displaced from their homes. Some have moved north away from Israel, others are moving east. Many are attempting to cross into Syria, saying it's less risky than staying in Lebanon. Sky's international correspondent John Sparks travelled to Al Masnaa border crossing, where he sent us this report.
Few people in Lebanon would choose to make this trip. The Syrian border is something to avoid. Yet 100,000 have made the crossing and many more will try, each one an act of desperation.
Aren't you taking a risk by going back to Syria?
I have to take a risk. What am I supposed to do? I need to escape the war.
Yeah, we're scared, but we just rescued our friend from the rubble.
This is Masnaa, a dusty frontier town now consumed by a great wave of humanity. The majority are Syrians who've decided to gamble on a trip back home. Adnan had just arrived from southern Lebanon.
Right guys, I'm going to get on with the rest of my day. I've got to take Max out for a walk later on. I've just made sure that this Admirals pie is thoroughly heated and I'm going to eat it. Yeah, I mash my food up